Sword of Atlas is a tactical role-playing game where the players take control of a party of travelers pitted against AI opponents, where fast-paced decision-making meets grid-based combat in a world where your actions determine the fate of your party. That's a lot of words to say. We are taking a turn meter action system, putting it on a grid, and playing it out in real time. So this week, we're going to be probably talking about all sorts of things. So Joe was an original member of Sword of Atlas back when it was being prototyped. He's definitely run the production, been quite involved with narrative. We wanted to start with Joe because he's really kind of seen the whole development of Sword of Atlas and has spent a lot of time thinking about what we'll be focusing on with this next kind of stage of development. So maybe we start with that, Joe. If you want to maybe try to frame what we've developed so far on Sword of Atlas, and then what the big goals are for this coming next leg of development.
I think it's something our game kind of has unique about it, especially when compared to a lot of other student or early level games. We're not taking like a third person blueprint in Unreal or anything and just building a game off of that. We had to totally build all of our systems from scratch. Where that comes in is that the production pipeline kind of stalled for a very long time when it comes to actually getting a product out that's playable. We were focused on making sure that all of the core principles worked independently, that once we finally reached a point that we were happy with that, which was about 3 months into production, we combined it all together. And honestly, we got very lucky. Everything just kind of worked.
Was that in November? I think it was like mid or late November that all the pieces kind of came together to a playable, right?
The first time that we could play it, like actually play the game, was November, yeah.
Yeah. What's the focus now? We have all these systems that are now working together, but it's kind of a proof of concept still. So what's the focus now?
I'd say almost totally on the player experience. So we have a proof of concept. We have a game that can be played. Now we just need to make it fun and make sure people understand what they're doing. The core game is fun to play. From the start, it's been pretty fun to walk around the map, to attack enemies and everything. Now we need to make sure that the players understand what's happening on the screen at all times. We need to build out that readability, all of the UI and all of the systems to make sure people understand what's going on behind the hood of the game. Because there's a lot going on. And if you don't know what you're looking at, it's kind of overwhelming. And so we need the UI and the readability to back that up. That's, I think, where we started production this semester. Really, that's the final little push that we have here. We just need to make sure that people like the game and they understand what it's doing. Part of that whole process has also been developing and adding in narrative as a fully fleshed out part of the game. From the get-go, one of the things that inspired me to be part of the team was to focus on like a character-driven, companion-driven story. The sword is the titular character of the game. You play as a protagonist who essentially finds this ancient sword in ruins, and you are just thrown immediately in media res into the middle of a situation that you have to figure out how to get out of. And so you have this strange new sword companion, this mysterious character talking you through the early portions of the game and the combat. And you don't know who this sword is. You don't know who's talking to you. You don't know who these enemies are or why they're coming after you. And you pretty much right out the gate kind of get into the good stuff of an RPG. You rescue one of two companions and you have to go rescue the other one later. You get your healer and bard, you get your warrior protecting you. You just jump straight into all of these super interesting characters that hopefully we should be showing off on like Instagram and other social media soon as well.
Thanks for talking to us, Joe, and thanks for telling us about Sword of Atlas, not only the production schedule and kind of the priorities as we're coming into this last chapter of the development, but also around the narrative. So appreciate all your comments around that, and be sure to check out the rest of our videos. We'll be releasing these once a week. Also have some other posts on Instagram and updated builds as soon as we can.